The following podcast is fan-made and in no way associated with Steam, Valve Corporation, or your mother. Also, it contains highly explicit language, so get the fuck out if you don't want to hear it. This is the pilot episode recorded live on Mumble, March 9th, 2012.
All right, guys, welcome to the brand new WTF podcast, where we talk about Steam and everything that's great about it. This is the first episode recorded on March 9th of 2012. I am one of the hosts, Scott, aka Survivor4580. I already messed up. I suck. And also, yes, go pilot episode. And with us for the wonderful evening that we're about to have, DJ Pimp Daddy.
Holla! I just want to remind everybody this is a pilot episode and no one's flying.
We are winging it, baby. and and of course with us is Linux for Life.
Yeah, fuck yeah, this is an explicit podcast too.
Dude, your mouth just made me spit beer all over my Macintosh. I was not expecting that.
That was amazing. I would have known that I was not the one that said the first curse word.
Shit, I'm second.
Oh! Well, fuck, I guess I gotta be third.
Okay, we got that out of the way.
Yeah. So, DJ, why don't you go ahead and run down what the show's going to be about?
Yeah, basically, we have some goals, and the goals are every week we're going to try to give you some Steam news. We're going to talk about the deals, give you some opinions, give you retro reviews, and we're going to discuss Steam topics, basically. And like some of our previous podcasts, we are going to do this live. So all of our mistakes will be aired because, sometimes they're just that funny. So anyways, this will be on a Mumble channel. So if you want to join in, just find our Mumble channel that week, wherever we might end up. And you could add, basically you could just be a live caller, or you could just listen live before the show even gets published. So.
Which obviously there's the huge benefit of hearing the show before it goes live, so that way you can hear all of our fantastic mistakes.
Oh yeah, sometimes I'm telling you, the mistakes are the best. So
yeah, I'm not used to doing a live show, so be prepared for every single mistake that I have ever made on my show.
The boss says, "Don't fuck up." Oh, there'll be a lot of fuck ups.
Oh man, we're gonna have to get like the F-bomb counter going at some point for each podcast. How many F-bombs did we use for this episode? 20? Oh, we're lower than the quota.
Oh man.
But yeah, currently we are using the wonderful This Week in Minecraft Mumble account. Thank you very much, DJ Pimp Daddy, for letting us use this for the show.
Well, I figure we weren't using it this week.
Yeah, This Week in Minecraft has been taking a break, which I'm really wishing that Lethal Injection Minecraft podcast did the same, especially after last week.
I am going to warn you, man. After doing your first live show, you're going to be on an emotional high, and then you're going to go record Limp right after this, and you're just going to be so bored. You'll be like, "Come on, guys, talk."
Yeah, most likely.
Nothing against your guests, but
Oh no, I love my guys reluctantly, but I love them. Anywho, we got a big steaming pile of news this week. We had quite a few games that came out.
I thought you were going with pile of shit.
I can only imagine how people are going to listen to this show, and in the first 5 minutes, it's really just us laughing at each other. Fantastic. That's what counts. Free-to-play MMO that came out this week, Pandora's Saga: Weapons of Balance. It is a massively multiplayer fantasy RPG with 3 nations clash in player versus player and raid versus raid combat. Pandora's Saga engaging gameplay features mounted combat, an immersed story, and a rich community. Vivid graphics, uplifting music, and an exciting adventure leads the player through a vast and challenging world. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of FTPs. So.
Yeah, I have not found one single one I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out myself. I don't really know if I intend to, but if you're into the free-to-play thing, I mean, give Pandora. The graphics looks nice, and if you're into it, so I'm a little interested in the raid versus raid combat kind of thing, though. That sounds a little interesting. I imagine that would be like a slight PvE kind of environment, and then you have like two raiders or two raid teams that are trying to go through it, and they intersect and go, "Oh crap!" and try and kill each other.
And then Leroy Jenkins right there in the middle. Too early on the Leroy joke? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now that we just lost a lot of cred from making a World of Warcraft reference.
I'm just going to go on record. I have not played World of Warcraft, so that's pretty much the most I know about it. So
I'm a reformed Wallaholic, so...
Wow. Well spoken.
We had another game come out this week, Vessel, which is a living liquid machines have overrun this world of unstoppable progress, and it is in the role of their inventor, Wright. What a name. To stop the chaos they are causing. Vessel is a game about a man with the power to bring ordinary matter to life and all of the consequences that it ensues. The greatest thing about Vessel is it has a demo.
Yes. We love demos. Every game needs a demo these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad that the massive list that we have here, only one game has a demo. That's not a good sign.
No.
Yeah. You know, the artwork is highly intriguing to me just because I fell in love with both. There was an iPad game called Machinarium that sort of has this same artistic style.
That's on Steam as well, by the way.
It is. Oh, that's right. I did not know that. Yeah, and also the World of Goo, which is just fantastic. I think I own World of Goo on like 4 different systems now. But
yeah. Me too. World of Goo is amazing. I hate playing it on the train while I'm going to work, though, because there'll be those moments where I'm trying to set up a tower and I accidentally put it somewhere else and it crumbles. And I'm like, God damn it! And everyone's looking at me like, what the hell is this guy's problem?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think I am actually going to get the demo for this and play it because it does look interesting. Just at least from an artistic standpoint. So I love good looking games. So
yeah, definitely the video for it is really phenomenal. It's very fluid motion. I like it, so I'll definitely check it out myself. Now, we're going to list off some games without demos, so therefore their credibility is already lost.
Yeah, and I have to point out, when I started compiling this list, I had to go back and update it 3 times today because Steam just constantly, all day long, is pushing out new stuff. So
yeah, which definitely means that we're going to prepare these shows last minute. It's just because it'll be a lot easier that way. But Jane's Advanced Strike Fighters, that already sounds terrible. Turn the Heavens into Hell. The Southern Azberistan Democratic Front of South Azberistan.
Scott can say long words. Holy shit.
Did
Holy
Diego
crap.
make this plot?
Has only... we need that maniacal laugh that only Diego Mustard can supply.
I will edit it in right here.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yes, the front of South Azberistan has only managed to hold off the North with the aid of the West, if that's not conflicting enough, which applies military and logistical aid, this is terrible to read, to the tiny state in return for the oil exports from their vast reserves. What the fuck?
Okay, if you take the plot and just completely throw it away, it's basically a flight sim combat game. Which actually, I do know that in the past, Jane's has made fairly good flight sims. Like I had the old Apache longbow game from them years and years and years ago, back before I got my Mac. No. And the Apache game was just awesome, but overly complex. So I sort of expect this to be the same way. And with no demo, I'm not willing to take a chance on it.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was like $2.50, I'm not paying money on a flight simulator. There's too many of those out there. But I mean, if you're into it, cool, check it out. I personally have no interest.
I guess the real question is like with games like this, do you think they're actually struggling to come up with plots at this point? Like, does it even really matter because everything's already been covered?
Well, look how convoluted the storyline for this is. How many times did they say Azberistan in this freaking description? I imagine Borat somewhere going, yeah, it's very nice. Very nice, how much?
The Notch accent comes out.
I haven't used the Notch voice yet.
Yet.
Stacking also came out this week from Tim Schafer's Double Fine Productions, which actually, they're pretty cool. Explore a vintage world inhabited by living Russian stacking dolls as you jump into more than 100 unique dolls and use their special abilities to solve a wide variety of puzzles and challenges. DJ, you said you had some interest in this.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of hype about this. At least a month ago on various podcasts and websites, and I have to admit Tim Schafer is just a mastermind genius, and once again it's like it's got this quirky Tim Schafer-y, artistic style, and it's like the plot is just over the top crazy, and it literally is like you go jumping around as a Russian nesting doll, where you just keep jumping into bigger ones and smaller ones, and like it's like I actually went out and watched the release trailers on the Steam channel, and I was just like, it's just as crazy as I had imagined it to be, not having seen anything about the game other than just hearing about it. So
it's on.
Before I guess you guys judge completely, go out there and watch at least the first trailer. It's just like, what? They're like, if you're getting burnt out on first-person shooters, this is the game to go to.
Well, the concept is very intriguing, and considering that this is the same creator that made Psychonauts, yeah, it sounds like it'll be interesting but very fun at the same time. You have to get it. It's like Tim Burton. You just have to get it.
And it is 33% off until March 13th.
Yeah,
very true.
So that's like 3 cents or something.
3 cents.
I don't know how much it is.
Takes $3 off of it.
Like $1. It's $9.99 right now on Steam. So,
which isn't that bad of a price. I wish they had a demo though. It really needs a demo.
Yeah.
This next one, we really shouldn't even need to freaking explain it. MLB 2K12. It's baseball. Get over it.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Baseball. Next topic.
Who brings up the Sims?
Dude, I had to put this in here because especially now that I know Scott has to read it. Go ahead, Scott.
I refuse to read this in its entirety. But Sims 3 made an add-on called Showtime, which features Katy Perry. Enough said. No, your character to be on stage and perform. And again, if you're into the whole Sims thing, it's great. Unfortunately, I kind of am. So
the truth comes out.
I don't know if I'd get this though because I'm so goddamn sick of Katy Perry.
He'll have it by next week.
I'll wait till it's on sale.
As you're trudging through that Chicago snow that's knee deep, you're singing California Girls, right?
Actually, I was singing, "Baby, you're a fire." The only thing that I could say about Katy Perry is I'm so sad that her and Russell Brand got divorced. Russell Brand is just so freaking hilarious.
So you're saying he's free? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
Nah. Now for some more interesting games. Containment, the zombie puzzler. Yes, that's right, a zombie game that's a puzzle, and it's not Resident Evil. In Containment, the zombie puzzler, Boots Snake Games has accurately and faithfully rebuilt the entire zombie outbreak of Franklin County. The immense attention of detail is staggering and rather touching. Who wrote this? From the sounds that were digitally recreated using the latest in BMX technology, not the bikes, to the stitching details on the clothing of the beep.
Yeah, I totally copied and pasted that.
Yeah, seriously. I was just like, wait a minute, this is a review. I want to say that this actually does not reflect the views and opinions of this podcast.
Yeah, we're reading what Steam has told us.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the screenshots and the videos, it really does look like Plants vs. Zombies minus the plants. I mean...
And that begs the question, what's the point?
Yeah. I have to admit, at least it's not a tower defense game, because I am so freaking over tower defense games.
Yeah.
Zombies are the new towers.
Yeah, no kidding. I just don't get why they don't have a demo for this. I mean, you would figure with a game like this that's really not going to be well known by any goddamn means, you think that you would want to provide a demo to at least intrigue people, unless they know that it sucks so bad they're not even going to bother. They're like, no, we're just going to trick them into buying it.
Yeah.
A game that I'm going to be personally interested in, actually, Luxor Evolved. In an all-new, completely revamped Luxor Evolved, the chains are faster, the power-ups are more awesome, and the shooters are more stealthier. In this retro-styled arcade shooter, you will experience a faster, more intense Luxor, I can talk, unlike any you have ever seen. Now, for those who have played Geometry Wars, it basically uses the exact same styling. And I thought it actually works relatively well with Luxor. It's fun.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I typically am not a sort of twitchy, shooter kind of a guy, but yeah, I do have to admit, at least it's the screenshots and the videos are enough to capture me. So if I do see it on sale, I probably would pick it up.
It definitely is one thing that I would suggest. There it goes. I was waiting for it. It's definitely something I would suggest picking up, especially if you're going to wait for it to go on sale, because it is fun. So.
Okay. I was going to say, am I mistaken? Didn't the old Luxor, didn't it have something to do where it was almost more like Tetris-y, or am I thinking of some other different?
No, it was a lot like Zuma. Do you remember Zuma?
Ah, yeah.
The big thing that was supposed to make it different from Zuma is that the paddle actually moves. You can kind of align your shots better.
Gotcha.
But in this one, they're kind of going for more of like a Space Invaders kind of feel to it.
Yeah, lots of particle explosions, and it looks. Looking at the screenshots, it looks like someone vomited a rainbow and then matrixed it and just threw it all over the place.
Yeah, it's a very colorful Vectrix game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Okay.
It's time for the segment that I think everyone will love. You want to rattle that name off?
The section is called "You Cheap Bastard."
I love it.
This is our section where we go over deals of the week, and basically the huge deal this entire weekend, and it started actually yesterday on Thursday, it is now officially 2K weekend. So all you 2K fans, you just get your hard-ons and just go get Steamified. And basically they're bragging that let's see here, it's 2K Games Weekend, up to 50% off the entire 2K catalog, which is actually pretty extensive. I did list that they had 57 games on here, but however, most of them are downloadable content packs. But just to glance over some of their series, just so you know what 2K has actually made, they have, let's see, the entire Mafia series, Borderlands, the entire Civilization series, my favorites, the BioShock series, Darkness series, MLB Baseball, hell yeah, and Railroad Tycoon for the win.
I really thought you were going to pick Railroad Tycoon, to be honest.
My kid is asleep. Let's not wake him up. So, out of the three of us, I, of course, have already said, I stupidly love BioShock. BioShock is probably like in my top 5, favorite games of all time. And I actually came to BioShock probably a year and a half after it came out, so I was really late to the game on that one. Which of the 2K games do you guys like and why?
Well, first off, I want to say a little bit of history. BioShock was the first game I actually bought on Steam. So that has a little place in my heart. I love the first BioShock. I hate the second one, though. I can't wait for BioShock Infinite. That looks like it's going to be way better. Me personally...
Totally going to redeem themselves on that game.
Yeah. Me personally, I like MLB 2K12. No, I'm kidding. I can't stand baseball games. No, I'm a huge fan of the Darkness series. I've read their comics. I love the fact that they made it into a game. I was a huge fan of the first one. I have not bought the second one on Steam yet. I got it on 360, but I'm probably going to trade that in and buy it on Steam because I'm freaking addicted. But the Darkness series is just so compelling and immersive and dark, which is perfect for me. So I'm totally glad that they're putting Darkness on sale.
I want to say I actually played a demo of one of those two on PSN, and at the time I just wasn't impressed, but it might have just been because, my PSN's, like, the hard drive's almost full and it's starting to act funky.
The problem was you downloaded it on PlayStation.
That is possibly true. I have to admit, I've been a PlayStation lover for years, but... Dude, ever since I got Steam, I'm just like slowly... Like, we could totally use this as an entire conversation in a future podcast on people who are slowly crossing over to Steam. So we'll cover that some other day. So, And yeah, Boss is saying PlayStation greater than sign Xbox. Let's not do that. And Crix is responding Steam greater than Xbox greater than penis hunters.
I'm inclined to agree.
See, this is exactly why you should do live shows on Limp.
This is exactly why we shouldn't do live. Could you even know our audience? We'll have more Mr. Hands than your anus has room for, all right?
Okay, just reading through the channel real quick. Boss is screaming, yeah, NASCAR. Let's see here. I'm not even going to read half of these. Boss is also saying 2K12 basketball. Well, you guys maybe don't play sports. That is true. I have never been a sports game kind of a guy. I think the last sports game that I actually enjoyed was Blades of Steel. So dust that one off.
Oh man, I was gonna say the last sports game I bought was Joe Montana's Sports Talk 2 for Sega Genesis. But Blades of Steel is so much better. Oh my god, I missed that game.
Oh yeah. God, if you're ever in Cincinnati, man, we'll dust it off and play.
Oh, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to.
It's on.
Linux, I don't think you had an opportunity to say which 2K games you were interested in.
For me, Borderlands. I haven't played many games in a little while here. I've been busy with other stuff, but I like the Borderlands. There's a new one coming out soon. Looks good.
Yes.
Actually, the BioShock games I've always wanted to play, so this may be actually a weekend for me to pick them up.
Yeah, I think it's like $9 or something like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah. BioShock, I'm speechless. It's just so good.
I bought BioShock 2 for the Xbox, and to be honest, it's still in its wrapper.
Hey, so you can return it new.
You're honestly not missing much, so... I gotta say though, I love Borderlands, but the problem is that I have so much ADD with that game for some reason. I have never completed it.
Dude, me neither. Dude. Like, I just I never have real time to sit there and go through a whole game, but that game is just taking me forever. There's so many different quests, and the landscape is huge. There's like no end to it, and with all the expansion packs, it's like no end to it.
Yeah, I mean, I bought Borderlands and all of the expansions, I want to say, like, maybe about a year ago, and I played through Borderlands for maybe a couple hours, and it's not that I don't like the game. I love it. It's really fun. I can't pay attention to it. There's just so much.
Just bought it today, so don't ruin the plot.
He dies in the end.
All right. I do got to clarify one thing here. Crix is like, he have no Windows, which means technically you can't run Steam. I'm currently, I dual boot my machine, so I do have a Windows environment that I use for Steam. That's a little dark side about me.
Hey, I'm running Windows on my Mac. And you know what? My work gave me this just kick-ass laptop that, no lie, it's meant to like run multiple virtual machines, in test environments. It's like a developer style laptop. And I found out it also runs Steam very well. I'm running Skyrim full on like settings, and I'm just
nice.
I am just in heaven. Like, I'm never turning that game on my PlayStation ever again. Like, it is so beautiful on the laptop. So, and I can play it at work.
That explains why I see you on all the time.
Hey, shush. I'm monitoring the logs.
Yeah, I actually was kind of worried about that at one point when I was doing my other podcast. I was talking about how I was playing Minecraft at work, and I was kind of worried about my boss catching me. But then I realized he's 80 years old. He doesn't even know how to download a podcast.
he's not gonna.
It's too funny.
Let me see what this limp is all about.
Yeah, they're accusing me of simulating train at work. That is true. Dude, I tell you what.
This podcast will fix my problems.
I see what you did there.
Put it in a bowl and smoke it.
Now you got to tell people where that came from.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the You Cheap Bastard section. The 2K Games sale is going through March 12th. So, oh yeah, and of course they're also. I'm excited to tell you this, Scott. They are also, or I'm sorry. I guess this is bad news. There's a little asterisk under here that says excluding MLB 2K12. So there is no 50% discount on 2K12 baseball.
I quit, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore.
I can't go on living.
The life is a lie.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to our next section.
Okay.
We had to mess up somewhere.
We're gonna move on to our next section, Linux.
This section's latest Steam, aka retro games on Steam. DJ and Scott both have a pick here. DJ's pick is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Works on Mac and PCs.
Yes.
And Scott's pick is Hex. Works on PC only.
Hexen,
yeah.
One thing I gotta say about San Andreas is I played the heck out of that multiple times through on PS2. And then, of course, I saw it, and it was cheap one day on Steam right after I joined Steam, and it was like the second game I bought. And when I played it on my dual boot, on my Windows partition, it ran okay, but I really wasn't impressed with it. And then I downloaded it and I played it on my Mac partition, and I was blown away. I cannot figure out why, but for some reason the Mac version runs at a much higher resolution. And it runs so much better. I don't know why, but it just does. So, like, if you guys...
How could you pick San Andreas over some of the other titles? Maybe because I'm in Chicago and I see San Andreas on a daily basis. I don't know. Yeah. Out of all the GTA games, how could you pick San Andreas? You got fat in San Andreas. I don't get it.
Hey, what's wrong with fat CJ?
I don't want to see. Well, first off, I don't want to run around fat. Two, I don't want to have to spend time customizing my pimp-ass ride. I just want to run people over like grannies, like a typical GTA game would allow.
I do have to admit, one night my wife came down and she was on her little elliptical behind me, and because I got my whole setup here in the basement. I got a really nice finished basement, so it's not like I'm just dorking out of my basement here. But anyways, I'm playing San Andreas and I'm running on the treadmill, right? And my wife is like, "Why don't you actually get on the treadmill?" I'm like, "Ooh, snap!" I'm working out my fingers. Shut up.
Hand-eye coordination, it's important.
I wish real life was just a series of pressing buttons. Oh.
But no, I mean, as far as GTA games, personally, I think Vice City is way better than San Andreas. They had a complete feel to it, where San Andreas just seems ghetto.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point of it. It was a ghetto.
I live in the ghetto. I'll go outside. Want to jack a car? Okay, no problem.
Man. Suburbia. There's people driving like nice cars, and everyone mows their lawns. I have to go blocks and blocks just to find a dog chained up to a tree.
Yeah. And the reason why I picked Hexen, though, for anybody who plays classic first-person shooters, Hexen was one of the first games that actually allowed classes in a RPG first-person shooter kind of concept.
Really?
And it was a lot of fun when the game first came out. Considering the time, the graphics was actually pretty mind-blowing, and it had a very nice D&D feel to it. So it's one of my favorite games even now, and I think the game was released in 1994. So.
I just did a search. It looks like they have a ton of Hexen stuff.
It's off by an ear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was released in Steam 2007. Wow. Hey, and they got a demo.
That.
Oh no, Hexen 2. I'm sorry. I will have to look that one up. Oh.
You didn't do the classes, I don't think, though. That was the only problem with that.
I guess for our live callers, if you guys have any games you want to talk about that are old, definitely chime in and we'll read them out. No, Skyrim is not old, Crix. There's all sorts of hate.
Foxmark has a good one.
Super Meat Boy.
It's not old, but damn, is that game? It's.
I got that on the
I like playing with that red Meat Boy.
Brad is asking, is there Minecraft on Steam? And bam.
No.
Let's bring Brad in for 10 seconds. How was your day, Brad? He's not going to talk.
Deny.
I was muted.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi, Brad.
How you doing?
You enjoying our week off?
Yeah, somewhat. Been get some stuff done on the video end.
Sweet.
Nice.
We do need more videos.
They're coming. One's coming out tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, Brad, basically, as a result of the fact that they can't push out updates and the modding would suck, that's why Minecraft is not on Steam. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah, essentially that was the big problem.
Yeah,
was that
was the mod.
Steam wanted to allow the mods to be downloaded through Steam itself, and there was just no way to do that logically.
So true.
Only two games I got on Steam is the free ones, TF2 and Portal.
And those aren't bad. It's like the classics, you know?
I haven't even played TF2 yet, and I downloaded it anyway.
TF2 is a lot of fun, but you got to play it with people that you know, because if you go in there without anybody, you're gonna run around like a chicken with your head cut off, going, "Oh my god, I'm killing stuff!"
Yeah.
Ah!
Sounds like COD 4.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually.
I'll tell you, I've played TF2 a couple times, and I haven't really played a lot of games again, and I got into that thing, and I'm like, holy crap, everybody's moving so fast.
It's very Quake-like in those regards. The speed of it, you really got to keep up or
I
get
love
lost.
Quake.
Yeah.
Is Quake 3 on Steam?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, snap.
You could play Quake 3 for free, though, at quakelive.com.
Can you now?
Yeah.
See, the thing
All right, gotta go.
Thanks, Brad. The thing that I do have to admit is I didn't even consider signing up for Steam until I actually boot camped my Mac. On the Mac side of the store, it is just depressing, the options. And like, you know, they're like, ooh, top sellers and new releases, and like, I swear to God, on the front page of the top, you know, the top sellers for Mac, they still got Snuggle Truck.
Hey, DJ.
Yes.
We were going to talk about that next week.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, we'll talk about it next week. But I still want to
say that.
We'll talk about it next week. But I just want to point out Snuggle Truck front page. Yeah.
What?
Snuggle Truck. Look it up.
I don't think I've even heard of that game.
Click on Mac. Go to the bottom. Snuggle Truck.
Well, we did plan on having an actual Steam discussion, though. If we want to go ahead and dive into that. I don't think we actually set who was going to talk about that, but I guess I'll go ahead and start it out.
Well, first you got to give what you wrote down here. Shady Earl.
That wasn't me.
He did not do that.
That was not me. That was Linux. Well, you might as well. Really damn funny.
All right, so I did store.steampowered.com. The shady URL, which equals http://5z8.info/hack webcam _K2C9MH_ Trojan.
That's still not good as much as gruesome. What is it? Animal porn.
Oh man, that was classic. That Shady Earl actually sounds like that should be for Origin's website. Oh, I spoke about the competitor.
I'm just not sure whether there's somebody hacking your webcam, creating a Trojan, or you're watching some hacked webcam you shouldn't be watching, and you need a Trojan to finish the job.
It takes you to whitehouse.com.
Thus, the plot of Bang Bus. That's how it all comes together.
Oh God, I haven't seen that in years. Anyway, we're gonna move on from that. We had a topic that we wanted to talk about with the student discussion this week, and we asked, do you personally feel like you can play these games forever, or do you fear that someday, at some point, the service goes done and shuts off, thus rendering all your games unplayable? DJ, you want to start us off on this?
Sure. I know that that was one thing I sort of always was skeptical about before I joined up. Was I kept wanting to read the fine print and be like, okay, if Steam shuts down, do they have some way of triggering it to where you say, okay, you guys spent all this money on all these games, you could keep playing them going forward into the future, even if we're not going to host them anymore. And I still haven't found that answer, honestly, but I have always been lifelong, collector of retro games. So for me, this is a huge step, sort of saying, okay, I'm going to stop collecting something I could hold in my hand. Yeah. But as a result, I feel like I'm cheating on GameStop, and it feels so good.
Oh God, yeah.
So I've done a few of those on live and stuff like that, where you can purchase the rights to use the game on an online service. So basically, they stream the content to you as you play the game. It never gets installed on your system or anything. And it works all right, but the problem is the internet goes down, you don't have access to your game that you've bought.
Yeah, I actually beta tested OnLive when the concept first came out. I actually have my OnLive console that I got for free, and it never got used. But the thing about OnLive is that you have to have a strong internet connection, because essentially what they use is kind of like... Are you familiar with LogMeIn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that you're streaming the actual video to your thing, and you got to have a really strong internet. If you got dial-up, forget about it, or if you have DSL for that matter.
Yeah. See, all day long, I'm trying to remote into computers in Mexico. So, yeah, let's not talk about bandwidth.
Services like that, I don't see surviving, to be honest. I see there's a market for them, but not a big one. Steam, EA, Origin, and what Microsoft seems to kind of have an idea of what they want to do with the next console is basically all the same. You download the game from their service directly. And to be honest, I really think that's going to be the future. As much as, I like going down to my GameStop, browsing through games and stuff, I can do it electronically sitting at home and don't have to go anywhere.
You don't even have to sit at home. You can sit at work and buy games all day long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Steam is doing pretty good at, trying to make things work on as much platform as they can. I know they've been working with some developers to try to make more cross-platform games and such, and they say they're working on a Linux version. That's never been seen, though. So they say it, but I highly doubt they're even putting any money into that. But that's another topic altogether. But I really think there's a strong market for this kind of buying games, downloading to your computer or Xbox or whatever it may be, and in the long run, the developers make more money that way too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe we could either see cheaper games or better games, along with they're not constricted to a disc size. So the plot could be longer too. The main storylines.
The load screens.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! That's another reason I freaking quit Skyrim. The freaking load screen. I couldn't believe how long the load screens were. But for some reason, when I play Skyrim on Steam, which by the way is what I've been playing pretty much this whole week, is the load screens are just they're insanely short. I mean, when I compare them side by side, PS3, I could literally almost open a beer and I could probably crush half the can if I was chugging it before something would load. And that was just like walking outside your house. So,
well, that's the other thing.
Yeah, if it's streaming, would that be the same?
Well,
streaming, I would think it would.
Yeah, to kind of touch on a couple points here. I mean, when you talk about on live and you talk about cloud gaming, I do believe that cloud gaming has a purpose in the future, but I don't think that technology at this point in time can really help it at this point, because the average download speed just isn't high enough to support something like that.
Yeah.
So in common households, on live would just not work.
See, Foxmark chimed in real quick. He said, so my 4 megabits in China are not strong enough.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
I mean, I got 100 down and 25 up, which is one of the fastest around right now. But the other problem with some ISPs is they have limits on how much gigabytes you can download per month. So that could be another
that's very true.
On live kind of idea.
Especially even if you look at it from a foreign standpoint, like the foreign countries, they actually not only do they sort of cap their broadband, but then they also charge them just ridiculous amounts of money if they go over. I know Australia is bad about that.
Yeah, Australia on live would be out of the question. Because I mean, most of their internet service down there is barely above DSL quality.
Yeah. The other point I was going to make, though, as far as the digital delivery content that we're kind of dealing with, like with Steam, for example, that is what gaming should be now. Because right now, GameStop's, and I was just talking about this with DJ a little bit earlier, right now, GameStop's biggest complaint or biggest argument when it comes to against Steam is that you can't trade the games back in.
Yeah.
The problem with that theory is that when it comes to like Steam, you're paying for the game significantly less than you would if you go to GameStop. GameStop charges ridiculous prices sometimes for their used games, and it's sad. And I actually got into an argument with this guy, and we're going at it for about a good 15 minutes. I mean, he was dead set on trying to convince me that I should always buy my games for my consoles through GameStop, and it's just I don't even want to play consoles to begin with. And last I checked, when is the last time you saw a used PC game that you can purchase?
I sold some at my yard sale for $1. Some lucky kid got Baldur's Gate for $1.
Nice.
I was like, go home, play that. Come back, thank me later.
But with the way that like piracy has become, I mean, you can't sell your PC copies to anybody because once you use that CD key, it's locked. So it's
I
one
kept
of those
a copy of Baldur's Gate.
Exactly.
I have Baldur's Gate through GOG, Good Old Gaming. So. Yeah, that's another good service. But
That's
we can't
next
talk
week's
about the competitors.
podcast. Oh.
Yeah, we can't talk about the competitors.
Okay.
But definitely digital delivery is where it's at, and I'm really glad to have Steam for that. One of the things that you brought up, though, in this question, DJ, is what happens if Steam goes bankrupt? That is a very good question. And honestly, I don't quite have the answer to that, but I can only assume that just like Direct-to-Drive was bought out recently, I think, by GameFly. And what they did is they just kind of merged their servers, and GameFly runs it now. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, as good as Steam is doing right now, I can't see it dying anytime soon. But when it does die, I think somebody's just going to buy it out and just maintain it from there, because I don't see digital delivery dying anytime soon.
No.
Well, one thing that I'm sort of paranoid about is I have never owned an Xbox until about a year ago, and I finally found one at like a flea market while I was looking for Nintendo games, and I went to plug it in, and the first thing I realized, and it was just a stupid foresight, was I was like, wow, okay, Xbox Live doesn't even work anymore for the original Xbox. So it's just like, everybody's like, oh, Xbox Live is, the shit, man. It's, it's so much better. But then, sure enough, it actually did have an actual end of life. And now, I'm not saying that I actually have these games, but, when from a collector standpoint, when I look through the catalog, I'm like, okay, there's this whole chunk of games where it has to have Xbox Live to work, And suddenly it's like, okay, well, what's the point of even buying that game? Just like, now
I'll tell you,
it's a piece of plastic.
I have some, Xbox 360 games that are a couple years old now. But again, their main focus on some of the games I have are the multiplayer side of things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of those things that multiplayer, on games, multiplayer moves with the newer games. So those games I have just sit on the shelf collecting dust because nobody's playing with them anymore. That's kind of a thing that moves on. But
yeah, it's like Team Fortress 2, obviously that game, from a multiplayer technical standpoint, it just you can't play it without Steam, correct?
Yeah.
That is correct. You need a Steam account to play it.
Steam, yeah.
So, yeah.
Unless you have the orange box for 360, but then you have to have an Xbox Live Gold subscription to play it.
Or PlayStation 3. Anyways.
No, PlayStation's dead in my eyes.
Yeah.
Well, we've drawn the line. We all know where we stand. And while we're bickering about Mac and PC, Linux is going to come up and stab us both in the back.
Well, to be fair,
Nintendo Wii, motherfucker.
I actually have a setup where my Ubuntu has two screens. One of them having a VMware of Windows 7, and the other actually being Ubuntu. So I am using Linux. I'm mainly using my Windows 7 for pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
Oh God! Why did you mention that in chat? Oh.
What?
I just learned about that like maybe yesterday. And, yeah, apparently, I'm not even going to mention it.
Sex tape?
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm sorry.
Is that?
It exists, unfortunately.
I need to bring that up on the For the Win podcast. Is it so? Why is it every time we start talking about something dirty, Brad comes back in the room?
I don't know. I don't even remember what
and it all gets
podcast
real quiet for a second.
I heard it on
Had nothing to
this
do
week
with
that I listened to, but
Hulk Hogan sex tape.
no, they were talking about speaking of sex, tortoises having sex, and I'm like, what? Yeah, and it's like they just go, I'm like, oh my god, what is this world coming to?
Well, they're obviously upset
watching-
that Steam might end.
Watching tortoises go at it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so does anybody in our live channel have anything they want to discuss about the topic about, I guess, playing Steam forever or the eventual shutdown? Because everything does stop eventually.
Although, like, again, Humble Indie Bundle is a different kind of model. Again, that mainly deals with indie games, but that's kind of a nice model where everything's DRM free, which you won't see with the big developers. But you own those games forever, so kind of works.
Yeah, so true. Let's see. I'm reading through the channel. I don't see anything besides my eye just keeps getting drawn back to Hulk Hogan's sex tape.
That's I saw like three times too.
I'm gonna bring this show back real quick. I actually have just went through the mountain of Steam's TOS here, and they do mention that on one-time purchases, Valve may, but is not obligated to, provide access for a limited period of time to download a standalone version of the software and content associated with that purchase.
Huh.
So basically what they would do is let you download a copy of the game that is not using Steam to basically allow you to play it.
So, I've only been on Steam for about a month and a half, right? How does... I have been reading, like, if I play some games in offline mode, some of the features still do work, like achievements and such, but is there a point at which in offline mode you have to check home? Like, is there, like, how long can you play offline before the game just stops working? Is it like Microsoft where they give you 30 days and then...
From my understanding is it works offline constantly. Again, any kind of multiplayer wouldn't be available though.
Yeah, obviously, since you wouldn't be logged into an account, you can't do like any kind of multiplayer. But from what I understand, Steam just needs like a one-time handshake to basically validate your purchase, and then at that point, you actually can play most games from Steam without actually having Steam open, depending on the game, of course.
Gotcha. Huh. Okay. It does make sense. Well, man, our live chat
is not very lively.
They're very topical. Not any of the topics that we're discussing. Crix wants to talk, but he apparently has his family screaming in the background. So,
and apparently has a fascination for penis.
Yes, Crix loves.
He has said that a lot.
Okay, well, I guess
oh my God, I'm just reading what he.
Yeah, we're thinking about next episode. Are we going to discuss, I guess, Mac versus PC on Steam? I guess the differences. Is that correct?
Definitely talk about that on the next episode. Basically, what is available to you as a Mac user versus as a PC user, and Mac users be prepared to silently sigh and pretty much drop your head.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be listening to DJ because I don't have a Mac.
We'll get Dragon. Dragon couldn't be here tonight. He definitely wanted to be on because he plays it a lot. And then
right, cool.
I've heard several other people that are Mac users that are also on Steam, but they're probably just like me. They dual boot. So
so much to say. Got to save it for next week, though.
That'll be the depressing episode.
The episode where everyone just kind of nods their head in sadness. So that'll be it for this week. You can catch us on Steam. My username is SirViper4580. You got DJ Pimp Daddy, obviously, and then Mr. Linux for Life. You can follow us on Twitter. My Twitter name is Scott Viper, VYPER. DJ Pimp Daddy has his, and then Linux is actually known as Early Films on Twitter.
You have to explain that someday.
Yeah, at some point we got a backstory on that one. You can catch our Steam groups. Both of our Minecraft podcasts has Steam groups that you can join and have fun with. Mine is the Lethal Injection Gamers, and of course, This Week in Minecraft has This Week in Minecraft.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
I gotta agree with Panda. Limp Gamers has to come back.
Yeah. I'm just,
it was funny because when I first asked, almost nobody responded to that. But like gradually, as time progressed, everyone's kind of like, okay, LI Gamers was fun, but I think I'm going to go back for Limp Gamers now. So
Limp, it just sits there, but it grows on you eventually.
If you are into Minecraft and like the explicit side of things, you have the Lethal Injection podcast to go to. We are the lethalinjectionpodcast.com. You can check it out. If you like the more PG side of things, you have thisweekinminecraft.com. Both podcasts are excellent. I definitely suggest you check them out. This Week in Minecraft does the live show format as well, so you can get in on there, have some fun with those guys. Limp is more recorded, and we decide that we don't want you to have the talk during our shows.
Yeah.
And yes, Crix is like shameless self-promotion, Scott. Oh, yes.
Dude.
And this Week in Minecraft is your Disney Channel for life.
Pretty much.
Disney's awesome if you're stoned.
Yeah, DJ put it best when he said that This Week in Minecraft is basically like the Disney of Minecraft podcasts, where you have Lethal Injection, which is like the HBO of Minecraft podcasts. That was such an excellent analogy. It was beautiful.
It was.
Nonetheless, we want your feedback. We want to know if we're doing a good job, what you guys would like to add. You can send in your feedback either via email to djpimpdaddy@gmail.com, or you can post on thisweekinminecraft.com's forums and let us know how we're doing. And definitely leave us feedback. We're very interested to hear what you guys think of the show.
Yeah, because if we get a good enough feedback, we're gonna obviously sort of segregate this off from the This Week in Minecraft. As fun as it is to piggyback, but the ironic part is Minecraft really is not on Steam, so
Exactly.
Boss asked if we were going to do a flash mob. Unless everybody has Team Fortress 2, I don't think that would be possible.
Yeah, somebody did bring that up. It might have been Boss, where they were like, "You guys gonna play a game afterwards?" I'm like, wow, we actually probably could.
As he was saying that, I was thinking the same thing. Like, that might be something worth adding to, like, a couple of shows here and there, just a little game time afterwards.
Okay, well, I guess this will be the wrap up. Everyone say goodbye. Okay, no one say goodbye.
No, I said it, but the damn thing didn't go off.
Oh.
God damn this thing. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
See you later.
Yeah, and this is DJ Pimp Daddy signing off. And since you guys do want to play a game, just meet me on Steam and let's all play Railworks 3, motherfucker.